Hey, what's up, guys? Here on the Fire Sports Pod, where everything we got is hot. I'm your host, Zach Jackson. Here yet again is our guest host. And I'm going to just go out on a limb here and just say he's our co-host, Irv.
Yes, sir.
Irv jumping on yet again. You'll be
Ooh,
seeing him a
ooh,
lot
ooh.
more.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, so we are here on Season 5, Episode number 31 on the Fire Sports Pod. It is currently 6:17 p.m. Eastern Time on this Wednesday night. We are powered by StreamYard, where StreamYard makes the dream yard go. And let's get right into the show. So our three segments we're going to be going over is first, the Deion Sanders debacle. What's happening? What are our thoughts? Does he fit in Dallas? Or will he leave Dallas? Or does Dallas go a different direction? Or is Jerry Jones stupider than ever and he just decides to keep Mike McCarthy for another year? We're going to go over all that in 10 minutes. And then our second segment, we'll be transitioning into the Jets and their absolute collapse this year. The ultimate collapse. They have a shit show of an organization. Their offensive coordinator sucks. Their coach is god-awful. Everybody
They just all bad, but we'll get into it.
Everybody is trash. And then our
Yeah.
third and final segment, we'll be going over the Maxy and Joel Embiid kind of call out. I think it was a good enough call out. I think that needed to be said. So we'll be getting into that. And that will be our third and final segment. So let's get right into it. So first off, I'm going to start us off, Irv, and we are going to be talking about, obviously, my Dallas Cowboys. They've been in the news for a very, very long time, but
Yeah.
and they haven't been in the news for some good things. They've been in the news for some bad things.
A lot of bad, bro. A lot of bad.
Yeah, it's not rolling. But in general, guys, the Cowboys, as they sit at 3-7, head into week 12, looking to start looking for a new person to maybe replace Mike McCarthy because he will not be returning for his sixth season with the team. That means the Cowboys could be in the market for a new coach come January. If that happens, what names that keep popping up is Deion Sanders, the Pro Bowl Hall of Famer, who has 5 seasons with the Cowboys and has won a Super Bowl, and arguably one of the best, if not the best, cornerback to ever play this game, doing it on both ends of the field, as well as playing another sport at the same time. Cowboys in 1995. Although Sanders seemed to be happy in his current role as head coach at Colorado, the Cowboys could still lure him to Dallas if they're willing to do one thing, according to Michael Irvin. During a Tuesday appearance on The Herd, Irvin was asked of whether Sanders would consider taking the Cowboys coaching job if the team were to draft his son, Shador Sanders.
Mm. That's
And
like a little that you want to know what it reminds me of? It reminds me a little bit of that LeBron and Bronny action that they're doing.
yeah, but the problem is Shador is actually shit. Like, he's actually really fucking good. And he gave very interesting answer. I believe 100% yes. And I can tell you good sources have told me that. Irvin said great sources have told me that. That's all I can say, like, without violating anything else. Basically, if you believe Irvin, the Sanders would be all about taking Dallas' job if the Cowboys are willing to use their first pick in the 2025 NFL Draft on Shador, who is currently a star quarterback at Colorado. Considering the Cowboys already have Dak Prescott, it seems like an unlikely scenario, but crazier things have happened. We've seen we see Atlanta taking my man what's his name from Washington, Michael Penix. They took him and they had Kurt. So I don't know. I really don't think, sincerely, I don't think I don't think Deion's coming. I don't think we get Shador. I think Shador goes to the Giants, if I'm not mistaken. I think the Giants pick up Shador. Do I think he might? I think he might blossom there with Malik Neighbors. I think that really is a good
That would
odd.
be a good duo because
Um,
it's going to be like another Travis Hunter for Shador, in my
Shador, yeah.
opinion.
Now, what I think our best scenario is, I saw a TikTok about this, and I'm actually gonna pull this shit up before we transition to you saying what you think. But I'm
Hmm.
actually gonna pull this shit up, and I'm gonna tell you what somebody saw, and I was thinking about doing, which, to be honest, is not a bad thing. Here's what Dallas should do this off season. First up, fire Jerry Jones. Yeah, sir. Even though he's the owner, I don't think you can fire him.
You can fire the owner.
Fire the owner. But all case in order, fire Mike McCarthy and Mike Zimmer. I agree with that.
Perfect. Yeah,
Um,
I agree with that.
Hire Bill Belichick and Deion Sanders.
Bill Belichick's probably not gonna happen.
Nah.
Deion Sanders, I see it. I see more Deion Sanders.
Yeah. Sign Xavier Howard out of Miami, 2 years, $30 million. Not bad. Sign
Not
T.
bad.
Higgins for 2 years, $50 million. Not bad at all. We need another wide receiver. Sign David Bakhtiara for 3 years, $60 million. Sign Buda Baker, 4 years, $80 million. Re-sign Micah Parsons. Franchise tag Zach Martin. Restructure CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott's contracts to get more money. Re-sign Trey Lance for QB2. And target Ashante Genty from Boise State, the running back in the draft.
Wow.
Hey, let's get it on.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest. I was definitely thinking about the running back from Boise State, bro. He's putting historic numbers.
In Boise State,
he's head to head right now against Travis Hunter.
I think Travis
winning
Hunter
a
gets the
Heisman.
I know
He's definitely getting the
be another
Heisman.
discussion
100%.
for another podcast, maybe on Friday. But
right.
I think Travis gets it because Travis is doing it on both ends of the field and at an elite level. He's probably the best quarterback in the college football, and he's one of the best wide receivers in college football. He's playing.
Yeah, but I mean, still with. But we're gonna talk about that another time. But yeah. I'm just saying, like, that would be an amazing pickup. I mean, if you look at what Dallas was with Zeke. Ezekiel Elliott back in
and I think he's better than Zeke.
And I don't blame you because he's putting historic numbers in Boise State. Bro. He's putting historic numbers in Boise State. So I think and you still have Dak Prescott and you still have Trey Lance, who are both elite quarterbacks, although sometimes they could be bad, but they're both still elite quarterbacks. So not necessarily we're looking to draft. You guys are looking to draft a quarterback. I think you're more looking like to draft offensive weapons. Like, for example, who are your wide receivers? Who's that besides CeeDee Lamb, of course? But
Brandon Cooks, but he's hurt.
That's what I'm saying. So I feel like if you guys focus more maybe on offensive weapons, because you guys already got the quarterbacks down. You guys have
you got the quarterbacks. We got Micah Parsons. You have the top 3 most important positions locked down: wide receiver, quarterback, defensive end.
We just need you guys just need a running back and
another wide receiver.
Another wide receiver. I was thinking more like a cornerback as well, because I know you still have.
We missed, dude. We should have paid Gilmore. Should have paid Stephon Gilmore. I don't know why we didn't.
Gilmore. I mean, I know him for his Patriots days. I know him for his Patriots days, and he was very elite.
Dude, just imagine these 3: Stephon Gilmore, Dorian Bland, who's out and still hasn't been played a game this year, and Trayvon Diggs. All 3. We saw 2 of them. We never saw all 3 of them. We saw Stephon and Bland last year.
Yeah.
Trayvon tore his ACL the second game of the third week of the season or second week of the season. Imagine all 3 of them on the same team, bro. But I got to shout out my guy on TikTok, Lamb BFTW. For that, I'm going to drop you a follow. Man has 7,000 followers on TikTok. He's the one that created the TikTok. But I am going to give him a thumbs up. I officially agree with your statement. That is one hell of a thing. The only thing I can't see is getting Bill Belichick and Deion.
And Deion, no, but maybe one of them.
Fire Jerry Jones.
Yeah, he's the owner, so
you can't.
He's gonna have to drop it. He's gonna have to realize at some point.
So I definitely think we're both on something. I think that what they said there, I don't think we have enough money for all that, but we definitely have a good enough money to get. I want to get that guy from Boise State, man. If we're going to look for any offensive weapon, I want him.
Boise State would be perfect.
I don't mind. If we can land Travis Hunter, that's another wide receiver and the cornerback. I don't mind that at all either.
Yeah, I was going to ask, do you think he's really going to play both ends?
You pair CeeDee with Travis?
That's going to be elite. That's going to be an elite group.
Oh,
very,
my God,
very elite
nasty.
group.
No matter who's that quarterback, bro, that's nasty. But, yo, if we can pull off some crazy magic, but the problem is Jerry Jones don't like pulling off some crazy magic in the draft, bro. We've seen it over and over. I was shocked when we took CeeDee Lamb. Shocked. Because that's not what he does. He pulls guys out of his ass and says, these guys are good. Like, dude, they're nobodies. What are we
Right.
doing?
Hmm.
So I really think that the Cowboys have a legitimate shot at this season's over. We're putting this season. I'm putting this.
Yeah, you guys should definitely tank this
We
season. I
have we
think.
have one
Yeah.
more. This is our last legitimate week. If we beat the Commanders and we play legit, not they lose. We actually beat them and we turn a table. We turn something. Cooper Rush plays really good and we stop making mistakes. Our defense looks better. Everything okay. Maybe we ain't going competing for no championship. We're not going far, no playoffs. We might not even win a game. We're not going to win a game. But the fact that we could go through all this pain and still make it shows some good heart and some good dedication. So I don't mind it. But at the same time, we better be like good enough because if we start winning and we miss out a chance to get this guy from Boise State or Travis Hunter or Shador or whatever the case is, I don't want that to happen.
No.
So
Yeah.
I really don't know. But I think to go off the question that we were doing before we transition to our next segment would be I would definitely say Shador Sanders is a possibility. Do I think it will work out? No.
No.
Because I think he wants to stay in Colorado. He's basically the owner there. He calls all the shots. He
Shador Sanders or Deion Sanders?
Deion.
Yeah, you said Shador. That's why I was.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, Shador definitely not. He's not coming to Dallas. But Deion Sanders, I don't think he's going to come. Just in the fact, yes, him and Jerry are boys, but at the same time, we're talking about money. Yes, he's going to have the money. He's going to have the spotlight, but he's not going to have his team. He's not going to have the people that he wants around him. So at the same time, I don't know. I think I see it as far-fetched. I see more of a Mike Vrabel or a Bill Belichick even coming more than a Deion Sanders. That's just to me. It's how I feel. Your last point before we move on to our next.
I mean, I just feel like Bill Belichick is probably a far stretch because he already has his job there. Being, I see him in College Game Day with Pat McAfee and the rest of them and ESPN. So I feel like he's going to be comfortable there. I feel like
No,
the
but he
position.
said he wants to coach this coming year.
Yeah, but if everyone passed on him that one year where literally everyone started signing different coaches except for Bill Belichick, you could just see that Bill Belichick was just good when Tom Brady was there. Like when he was there, when Tom Brady, was in Tampa Bay, the Patriots weren't really that good. You know what I mean? So I just feel like Belichick's gonna have to find himself a Brady in the team, and I don't think there is a Brady in the Dallas Cowboys. I do think though that Deion Sanders will be an amazing pickup because again, in 2022, Colorado was 1-11, and they were still pretty trash, even like during COVID and all that stuff. He comes into office, he brings his two boys in, he comes in, he plays, and he turns that team around. Right now, I believe they're 8-2, if I'm
Yeah,
not mistaken. They're 8-2,
believe so.
and right now he's just producing one heck of a player, Heisman and Travis Hunter, and you have his son, Shador, who is
Eight
a
and two, yes, ranked 16 in the nation.
and you got Shador, who's also a top 5 candidate for the Heisman.
Oh.
So I just feel like he could really turn that team around, just like he turned this this Colorado team around. I feel like if he could take a Colorado team that went 1-11 a season before he got there to now 8-2 and could possibly continue to beat these big time schools, I really feel like that he has a legitimate chance to be a part of that Cowboys franchise to turn their season around.
All right, fair. All right. So he had a little bit of a misunderstanding when it came to both sides. I just think that it's but again, hey, if he does come, I'm not mad. Hey, let's get this straight, guys. I'm a Cowboys fan through and through. Deion Sanders, come, please save us, please.
Nah, yeah, of course. I
Because
would I would 100% want you
at
guys
the
to pick
same
up
time,
Dion.
we got to be realistic. For me, realistically, I don't think he comes. But in
Right.
general, I hope, I really do, but I don't think he comes.
Yeah.
Now we will transition to our second segment, which will be going over how shitty the Jets have been this year.
Yeah. Yeah, we definitely need to
So
talk about that.
let's get right into that. So now, first off, Joe Douglas, the GM of the Jets, he is fired. He has not
Yeah,
had a winning season with the Jets since he's been hired as the general manager in 2019. That is pretty bad.
that is extremely bad.
That is god awful. I think that's worse than the Giants.
Nah. We can't compare those two. They're kind of like on the same boat because I feel like the Giants haven't really made it to. Actually, no, I'm lying.
Yeah, I
They
think
they
you are
did
lying.
win a wild card game. I believe it was
Yeah,
like last
they
season.
beat the Vikings.
Yeah, they beat the Vikings. Okay, so yeah, they are doing a little worse than the Giants right now.
Yeah,
They
exactly. But no, at the same time, I do really think that Joe Douglas was a big part on why the Jets suck. Even with gaining Aaron Rodgers, he still sucked. They
I
never
mean,
couldn't get a
there
winning season.
was there was just some things that when they picked up Aaron Rodgers and then he had like that season-ending injury, there was just something that were out of control. But I feel like he should have surrounded.
Aaron
He
Rodgers
should
for
have
more.
that were definitely more offensive weapons because I feel like defensively they're good. I mean, they have Sauce Gardner, they have
Yeah, he's been playing like crap though this year.
what's that DT the defensive tackle? I think his name
Wilkins,
is huh?
Wilkins.
Oh, I forgot. I just remember that they drafted him and he was pretty good, but I think he's like,
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
do you
Damn
know
it.
what I'm talking about?
Oh,
Do you? I think it's Quincy
yes,
something.
Quincy Williams.
Quincy Williams. Thank you.
I needed the
So
first name.
yeah, so and then they have a good linebacker as well. Like they have good like defensive like you know what I mean? They
Yeah,
have
good
good
pieces.
defensive weapons. Just offensively, bro, they were
They have
just
no
like
answer other than Brees Hall, who's having an actually really good year
Brees
this.
Hall is has been doing really good, but I feel like the offensive line is
They
you know what
suck.
I mean?
They're
And then
horrible.
and then besides, Devontae Adams, who else is Aaron Rodgers throwing it to? You know what I mean? Like there's just different factors that the general manager, former general manager should have just fixed and should have just prepared, especially if they were making the big move to sign Aaron Rodgers and then sign Devontae Adams, which was probably one of the biggest things in the free agency, getting Aaron Rodgers like best friend back and they're still like terrible.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. It just didn't pan out. It's sad that off of a firing it had to be, but the guy hasn't produced. He doesn't deserve to be the general manager anymore. And to be quite frank, I just think the Jets are better off without them. I didn't like that they fired Robert Saleh. I wish they would have fired Nathaniel Hackett and Joe and Douglas and kept Saleh. I like
I think that was I think it
I
was
think it
something
was
deeper.
I think
It was
it definitely was, but I think it was a stupid move. I think Salah was a much better coach. I like him much better. I think
yeah.
Nathaniel Hackett is just trash, and I didn't like Joe Douglas either. So I think the Jets made a good move in firing Joe Douglas. But I don't. I think they made the wrong move with firing Robert Sala. Because he put that team together, and remember he had Zach Wilson for a couple years, so that guy's trash. He's like third string
Yeah, it
quarterback
was
on the Denver Broncos,
yeah, that
and
was not.
he was a top 5 pick. So that's for me is just it's just messed up. But in
Hmm.
general, it's over. I think the Jets collapse really had everything to do with they don't look like they want to play. Like Aaron Rodgers looks like a shell of himself. Again, he's 40 years old. We have to understand like he can still do it, but he can't do it consistently. So he needs help. And nobody gave him any help other than Brees Hall, the offensive line. He's 40 years old. I don't know how many times I have to say it, Irv. He's
And
40.
in my opinion, I just feel like Aaron Rodgers. I mean, he's a professional. MVP, Super Bowl, you name it. He has done everything, and he's. I mean, not probably, but he's like for me behind Tom Brady, the best quarterback in NFL history, without a doubt. I just think that he put himself in a position where the pressure was really on. You're going to an organization where you're literally if you and he also said this as well that if you're a Jets fan, if you win, the Jets are going to the Super Bowl. That's literally the mentality. If the Jets win, they're going to the Super Bowl. If the Jets lose, they're playing old Jets. And that's literally what Aaron Rodgers said. So you already could tell the amount of pressure that Aaron Rodgers is going through just being a quarterback for probably one of the most losing franchises in the past 10 to 20 years. You know what I mean? So I just think, me personally, that Rodgers put himself in a position where the pressure was really hitting him, and he wasn't receiving this type of pressure back in Green Bay, because Green Bay, you know,
I would say the
along.
last year of Green Bay he did, but he was there was really no.
Yeah, I think that was the downhill, but
Yeah, he didn't really have a pressure because he already did it. He wanted out of there.
yeah, but even at Green Bay, he had the offensive weapons. He had, like, the defense literally backed him up. And the Green Bay Packers were always a threat coming into the playoffs, no matter what the record was. They were
Yeah,
always a threat.
because
So
they
I
had
just
Aaron
feel like,
Rodgers.
yeah, so I just feel like now, the Jets are like, what? They're 3-7 now. I just honestly think that the pressure really hit Aaron Rodgers, and I just feel like, they just need better management. They need better people around Aaron Rodgers for him to execute, to be the Hall of Fame quarterback that he is.
Yeah, I think he's got one more year to prove himself, and I think he'll be out and retired. And it sucks because I would like for him to get a Super Bowl with the Jets so he can end his legacy with 2 Super Bowls. And he's screwed my Cowboys over numerous times on numerous occasions. But since now he's in New York, I can actually root for him. And I feel bad, man. But I really shouldn't. This man is a multimillionaire playing football for his career. So I mean, I can't really feel bad for people like that because it's like, dude, you're in a position where you can retire anytime you want and be set for life, and you still want to
Mhm.
go out and perform and do this, which is
It's just the love of
understandable.
the game, bro. The love,
Respectfully, I love it. But at the
the
same time, dude, you
mhm.
got to know when to step away. It don't look like Aaron Rodgers is still Aaron Rodgers. It looks like his age is showing.
Well, again,
But again,
you have to understand the
I'm not
amount.
but I'm not disagreeing. I agree
Mhm.
completely. But I'm saying is that if you understand as a management standpoint that this guy is 40, he doesn't look the same like he did 3 years ago. So what does that mean, Jets organization? What does that mean, Irv?
But I feel like they're treating him like how Tom Brady was in Tampa Bay. Tom Brady, being 40 years old, made the transition from the Patriots to Tampa Bay during the COVID season and winning a championship that same year. They're treating it like as if he's another Tom Brady. And honestly, I don't blame them. He is a wonderful comparison to Tom Brady. Again, he's second, in my opinion, second to Tom Brady in the best quarterbacks in NFL history. But I just feel like they just need I just feel like they just need to surround him better with better offensive linemen, to have a consistent offense. I mean, I can't really say much about the defense. They've just been poor. They've been performing poorly. They've just been performing
Yeah,
poorly,
they're not a
and
bad defense. They have the pieces.
they're
They just need
yeah,
to
they
win.
have the pieces.
Yeah.
It's just poor. They're
But
just
they don't
poorly.
have they
Yeah.
also don't have an offense to lean on. So they can get a
Mm,
good stop. They're down
right.
10. They can get a big stop. Their offense goes out 3-and-out. Pick, fumble, whatever. They don't go nowhere. Miss field goal. They get the ball back. They're like, all right, we just did this shit for nothing. There goes
And
the
then
game.
that's
The
and
boys
then that's where I talk about pressure. Just like how Aaron Rodgers is getting the pressure, so is the defense of the Jets, because they're good, but just the amount of pressure that comes with being a Jets player. If you lose, you're just another Jets player, a part of like a losing season. But if you
Yep,
win, you're automatically contenders to win a Super Bowl.
they're on
Like,
this pedestal.
yeah, exactly. And that's what I'm saying, that now, like, media and fans, they're just making the Jets harder. And I feel like the pressure, even though the professional athletes, the pressure is really hitting them hard. That's what I think.
I agree. This one I really can't disagree with you. I agree 100%. This was a disaster season for the Jets.
Yeah.
They needed to do more in the offseason. They didn't. They did a little bit more than my Cowboys did. But still same result, basically the same record. So I would definitely say the Jets had a very miserable and down year. Very
Hmm.
I expected a lot more out of this year, especially with Aaron Rodgers coming off the injury. They had so many games they could have won. Very low score games that they could have won. 1-score games, 2-score games, games that they got away from them. They should have closed in. So a lot of those losses they should have won. But it is what it is. That's football. Better luck
Yeah.
next year. Their season is officially definitely over. They have 8 losses, I believe, or 7. Unless something drastic happens in their division, which has Miami and Buffalo. And New England's not a like an easy out when you play them. They almost beat the Rams. They lost by 6. Rams had to put 28 points on them. So that's a big difference. I would definitely say that the Jets had a chance to really rewrite their history, and they fumbled the bag. So better luck next year. We'll see what they do in the draft, and we'll see how Aaron Rodgers feels. So, do you have anything else to say before we transition to some Maxy talk?
No, I mean, I pretty much said everything.
All right, good. So we agreed. We disagreed the first time. We agreed the second time. Third time's the charm. Let's see what happens.
Yeah,
Maxy versus Joel Embiid. So they had a fight in the middle of the meeting. Maxy knocked out Joel Embiid.
Knocked out?
Just kidding.
Oh my gosh! I was like, where did you find that? That's like another dream. That's like another Draymond and Jordan.
That was supposed to be like you were supposed to jump into it and be like, "Yeah, man, they knocked him out." You didn't get the joke, man.
You gotta toss me that alley-oop.
You screwed up the joke, but then it wouldn't have been real. It would have been a real reaction. So I got a real reaction out of you. Like, what the fuck are you saying? No. So basically, what really happened was basically just a call out. So two brothers, two teammates that are very close. One is just trying to lure the team. They're 2-11. They haven't started out the year really hot. Joel Embiid was injured, then suspended. Now he's back. He's not 100%. He's definitely not himself. He's been very lazy to start out the year, and he just was late to meetings. And he says, "Yo, Joel, you gotta get your head out of your ass. Basically, you gotta start moving like this. We're already 13 games in. We got 82 games. I mean, a snap of the fingers, we're gonna be at All-Star game. So you gotta try to take this shit to the next level because that's what I'm trying to do. Yeah. And I'm just one person. I mean, I'm not a dominant force like you are, and you're just taking this shit for granted. So if you're not going to step up, then just stay off the freaking floor because you're just not helping. You're just causing more problems." And to be honest, I really don't disagree because this has been happening with Joel since he's been in the league. He's always either injured. He never takes his body never gets his body healthy for the season. He doesn't look like he's always gassed. He's a dominant force. Joel Embiid could be the best center in the league over everybody, but he's just never available. And the best ability is availability. And when you're not available for your team and you're supposed to be the best player on your team, then what are you? You're just nobody. You're not a reliable source, which means that you ultimately just suck because you're never there. He's a great player, but if you're not there, then you're really nothing to the team because you're never on the floor. And that goes the same thing for Paul George. He's had his long history of injuries, but he's also injured. He's not 100%. He's finally back onto moving things. But, dude, they're still 2-11. I mean, Tyrese Maxey has just been going crazy. And at the same time, injuries have certainly played a part. George has missed 6 games and Embiid has totaled already 10. And Tyrese Maxey's been out for the last 6 games with a strained right hamstring. So Maxey's not even in as well. So though he expected to make a return sometime this week, Philly's big three has yet to share the court together. But that aside, no one has expected the Sixers, a team that committed a ton of money to build a championship-level roster this summer, to be bad. They spent a lot of money. And after Monday's loss, the Sixers had a team meeting to address the early season struggles. During this meeting in Miami, Maxey reportedly called out Embiid for being late to team meetings. And to be honest, if you're late to my landscaping job, or if you're late, let's say I had a guest on and they were supposed to be on at 3:00 and I'm waiting and whatever, that looks terrible. And you're supposed to be the star. Imagine the host, like me. I'm the host, and you're in before me. How does that make me look?
No, yeah, it's bad, bro.
Like crap. That makes me look like I don't give a fuck. So if that's the case, then shit's just got to change. So Embiid received the comments well per the report and also chimed in to say that there's time where he is confused about what the 76ers are attempting to execute sometimes on the court. This was coupled with several other Sixers players voicing to Coach Nick Nurse that they wanted to be coached harder and wanted players to attack practice with more purpose. Then that seems like a very good meeting. If you got players saying you need to coach us harder, If you got players calling out the best players saying, hey, you can't be late to team meetings, I think that's a great chemistry and great work of in the environment. I think that goes
Yeah.
for a team, especially a team that's struggling as bad as they are with so many veterans and good talented players. I mean, you just name it. Paul George, Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey. You would think if you didn't know basketball, you just knew those guys' names and how good they were with whatever. You would just put that two and three together, and you'd be, all right, that's a championship level team. That's a team that's going to go to the finals. That's a team that's going to compete in the East. It's not the case. Injuries play a part. Yes, injuries are
Yeah.
terrible, but they're part of the game. So how is Nick Nurse going to adjust? And so far, he's done a pretty bad job. And I could see they don't play hard. They don't want to play. They don't want to be out there. So yes, they're multimillionaires. Yes, they're adults. But dude, they're still playing basketball. They're not the best players in the world. Like they're the bench guys, the guys that are working hard. Jared McCain is playing out of his mind.
Yeah, he's playing really well.
We would
Really
have
well.
never knew Irv if McCain was this good. If Maxey wasn't hurt, George wasn't hurt, Joel Embiid wasn't hurt. He wouldn't be getting the time that he is right now. So
Yeah.
what is your say on this? My say is I think this was great. I think there should be no bad blood. I think there should be no problems with Maxey doing what he did. Yes, he's injured, but he put everything on the line last year for the better half until the playoffs with Joel Embiid hurt. He carried that team to the playoffs, and he almost beat the Knicks.
Oh,
If it wasn't for Joel Embiid, if Joel
oh my gosh.
was half healthy or semi like able to score 20 to 25 points a game and not be complaining about his leg every 2 seconds, I think the Knicks would beat you guys, or at least it would have went to Game 7. All right, you're not a Warriors fan, but at least the Knicks would have got to Game 7. So you're not a Knicks fan, so you're a Warriors fan. But at least they would have got to Game 7, and it would have been an interesting day. They couldn't even get there. And also, they folded. Maxey, the Knicks almost messed up a couple other things. So there were a lot of chances. But I think this year just shows that the injury bug for the NBA in general is really bad.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts? I think this was good for the team, and I think this could help out in the future for this entire rest of the season.
Mm-hmm. So when you look at the past 5 NBA seasons, or like around the 5, Embiid always finished and has won an MVP. He always finished top 3 in MVPs. And then there was even a year where they were saying that Jokic should have not won, that Embiid got snubbed for MVP.
I remember that.
So when you really think about what Embiid is to this organization, he is basically a cornerstone. He is he's the MVP of that team. So of course you expect, I know injuries play a factor, but you have certain expectations for that player, because he already surpassed those expectations by winning the MVP, by finishing top 3 in MVP voting, by carrying his team to the playoffs, and even the Eastern Conference Finals when they lost to Kawhi and the Raptors in 2019. But I think this call out by Maxey was just to show that the team does not need to rely on Joel Embiid. They have the necessary pieces. They have the chemistry. They just need, like you said, like what the other player said, that they want Nick Nurse to coach them harder, as if Embiid did not exist. And I think that's what they need, because this, so far, for just being, we're almost 15 games into the NBA season, it's already, they're 2-11. Horrible start when they have Paul George. And again, I know injuries play a factor, but I feel like they have a roster where they can push players to actually perform their best, because they're relying too much on Joel Embiid to step up and actually play. It's horrible.
Yeah.
They already have Jared McCain stepping up, who, if I'm not mistaken, almost dropped 30 points the other day. Like yeah. Yeah. So they have Jared, and because of all of these injuries, you know what I mean? But still, like, he's actually performing well. Now they're just missing Paul George to continue performing. Tyrese Maxey is already performing out of his mind, because it seems like he's the MVP of the team and not Joel Embiid. So I just feel
And on
like
top of that, Maxy's also hurt.
and he's battling through injuries as well. So I just feel like this call out by Maxi, yes, he understands that Embiid's injuries and the challenges of his injuries, but I feel like he's trying to say that his team does not need to stress playing without Embiid because they have the necessary tools, they have the necessary pieces to to perform better as a unit. I just feel like if they perform better as a unit and not view Embiid performing bad or Embiid not playing with them as a challenge for them, I feel like I don't know. I just feel like the 76ers really need to start performing or practicing, I guess you could say, as if Embiid did not exist because they're relying heavily on an MVP caliber player, which he hasn't won MVPs and all that stuff. So that's what I think. I think Maxi was definitely in the right. And he also motivated players to stand out, like you just read, what you just read right now. He also voiced other he also influenced other players to speak out on, on the situation that they're dealing with, and to even push Nick Nurse, who has made it to the promised land, who has won a championship with the Raptors, to push the team to that NBA finals type of mentality. Because this 2-11 start with picking up Paul George and picking up all these pieces, having Jared McCain balling out of his mind. You know what I mean? I don't know. I just feel like they just really need to step it up. I do believe that they do have a talented roster. I do and
Well, the
I
talent's there.
the talent is definitely there, but
Talent is there.
they just need to work. They just need to learn how to play without Joel Embiid. That is just my take on it. I just feel like what Maxi did was perfect, and I think it really woke up Nick Nurse and the coaching staff to really step up the 76ers because it just doesn't seem like it's working right now with this 2-11 start. It
I
just
can't
doesn't
I
seem like
can't
it's
agree
working.
enough. I think
They're literally right now tied with the Wizards. They're
as the
tied with
worst,
the Wizards.
as the
I'm
worst
sorry. Let me repeat. They are tied with the Wizards.
as the
Like,
worst
are
team
you
in the NBA.
serious right now? Like,
Yeah.
the
Hey,
76ers are way
guess
too talented to
guess
be in the
who's
bottom.
guess who's changing some people's minds, man? The Pistons. They're 7-8.
And you want to know something, bro?
Uh,
The Pistons, I just feel like they're just a good team, bro.
they're
They're
tired of
they
losing
it
too.
bro. They've been a losing franchise for so many years, bro. But I think they surrounded themselves with the correct pieces. I feel like their rookie players have grown to become like, bro, Jaden Ivey.
Oh
Kate
yeah,
Cunningham was always balling, but Jaden Ivey's been balling. They just picked up Malik Beasley from the Bucks, or from the Lakers, the last team I think he played for.
yeah.
Which, by the way, is a good two-way player, great three-point shooter, a great defensive guard. They have Tim Hardaway Jr., a sharpshooter. Jalen
Well, he hasn't
Daniels.
he hasn't he hasn't had that good of a season. But yeah, I get you. They
But
got
what I'm saying is that they're
yeah.
just surrounding themselves more with these offensive weapons, and at the same time, also having these defensive young players who are now stepping up. You have Asar Thompson, one of the Thompson twins, who's not bad for a guard that plays guard forward type of player, who's a good defender as well. I just feel like you have a lot of young players in the Pistons who are now blossoming and growing you know into more veteran players, and they're establishing the role in their team. That's why they're 7-8.
I mean that was perfect. I think you hit all
Mm-hmm.
the necessary points, and I think in general we both have an agreement. So we went 1-2 when it comes to disagreeing.
Mm-hmm.
2 times we agreed, and 1 time we disagreed. But I think we agreed in two different aspects. You
Yeah.
brought in the agreement of Joel Embiid is the problem, and we need to kind of like get away from it. I put in that I think the entire team is the problem, and I think we just need to get everybody moving. And what Maxi did was great. And then we
Yeah.
transitioned back to the Jets. We both agreed that the Jets are just trash, and
Yeah.
their entire management system just needs to change. And then the Deion thing is the Deion thing. We'll see what happens in the near future. But other than that, guys, that is pretty much it for my show here on the Fire Sports Pod, where everything we got is hot. I'm your host, Zach Jackson, and we are done for today's show. This was season 5, episode number 31. I am here with my boy Irv, who is now our new co-host here, powered by
Yes,
StreamYard.
sir.
StreamYard makes the dream yard go. Again, guys, just to give you a quick thing, I am not replacing Matt. Matt is still our first co-host because people be like, "Oh, what happened to Matt?" Whatever, and Matt be like on here. I'm not replacing Matt. Matt still has a part on the podcast, just when he's not here and when he's not able to do anything. Irv will be here more consistently almost every day on the show, so he'll be helping me out big time behind the scenes as well. So again, big shout out for Irv for helping out. We're gonna try to make this into a big monster thing. So for the
Yes, sir.
first couple hundred to couple hundred to 1,000 followers, you'll be our true followers. And then after that, I'm not following any of you fuckers back. So just know if you're in the first 100 to 1,000 follower, you'll get a follow back on TikTok, IG, and whatever. But until then, after that, that is it. I can't be following too many fucking people. So that's pretty much it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. We had a spiritual debate again. We went over the Deion Sanders debacle, the coaching changes for the Dallas Cowboys. On top of that, we went over the Jets shit show of an
Yeah,
organization. We'll see what happens then. And then we went over the Maxy and Embiid
and
call out.
Embiid.
See how that really panned out for the 76ers. So all in that, guys,
Yeah.
hope you enjoyed the show. This will be posted shortly. I'll see you guys on Friday for season 5, episode number 32 on the Fire Sports Pod. We are 3 episodes away until going to season 6. So that will be something. So I'll catch you guys on Friday. Peace out. Have a great rest of your Wednesday night.